You packed
I
your
see it.
bags and ran from what we had. Ran from what we had. Ran from what we had. I screamed my love at you, but you were never listening to me. There's nothing I could do. Your silence was so crippling. Now you fall down, so you can say I was your bad, so you shut down, so I can say I love you back. I can't live anybody else.
Appreciate it.
There's a bit to it, TJ.
Where did you go?
All good? Yep.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, Jamie. We've known each other for like 20 years, so it's really nice to see your face on this show. Really appreciate you inviting me out, man. I'm Chris Atwell. I've also had various names over the years. Absent Minded used to be one of them. Now I'm just going by Atwell, using my last name, and living in Stouffville, Ontario, formerly from Barrie. And, really happy to be here, man. Really happy to be here.
Well, hey, what's going on, guys? So most of the chat knows me as Ray Music, but my name is Chandler. I've been producing for a little over a year now. I've been playing piano for 8 years, taught myself how. I got into DJing for a little bit, and then I've always been in the world of like electronic music, and so producing music was just what I leaned towards as a profession. But mhm.
That's my 4-year-old. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Well, it's just JLR because the full name's a little bit of a tongue twister. Joe Lyons Rising. And yeah, I trademarked that last name, so it's just me and my fam that got that one. But yeah, I'm also, it's funny, I'm like Chris. I grew up in Barrie. I left Barrie about 20 years ago, and I live about 5 minutes down the road from Chris in Stouffville. And one of the most amazing things, Chris and I have known each other about 25 years, and we finally just hooked back up in the past year to start producing music together, and it's been sick. And overall, I've been DJing about 20 years, and then in the past year, I just kind of had like another resurgence in music production, doing a lot of free edits, a lot of fun free music, and then some original productions now with Mr. Atwell.
Yeah.
There. Am I there now?
Yeah.
We may have to start this all over.
All good, fam.
Okay. Now we can hear you. Okay. Like I said, I am new to this. My very first show. So we're going to rewind. Ready? And we're going to start. But that was good because we had a practice. All right. So let's start again. And not hear chatter. I'm reading the chat. Okay, why don't we see if everybody can hear us? So, Chan, say something.
Hello.
All right, next. Anybody?
What's up, Chris? Here.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey guys, what's going on? You hear me now?
Okay, so can you hear us all in the chat now? Let us know.
No comments on Facebook for
Okay,
people
so-
that message me.
All right, I think we're good. All right, let's move forward. Our first technical difficulty right off the top. Okay, we're gonna start all over. So this platform, New Music Monday, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is James Smokie. I am a DJ / producer / music guy, family guy. Been around the scene for quite a long time. I love music. I play guitar, I play piano, I'm a musician as well. And with these crazy times, a sales job during the day, so I've been off for a while. Who knows before I can get back to that. But in the meantime, I've had some spare time, and I've been able to learn this live streaming. So I kind of ripped apart my studio 6 or 7 times to try and just do DJ streams. And I started doing that. That was fun. We had a good time with it. And then someone said to me, can you play my son's tracks on your show? And I thought, well, why not try and do a live broadcast and feature some new artists? So I had to learn all this. As you can see, I'm still learning as I didn't have a mic when we started, but we're here now. So we're going to do our introductions and we'll start over again. So I'm going to start with Chris Atwell this time. So Chris, why don't you tell us about yourself, who you are, what you do, and we'll move on from there.
Right on. Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris Atwell here. You probably see me do that motion a second time now. But listen, I'm a music producer, audio engineer, music aficionado for over 20 years, and I've known Jamie for 20 years or so now. You can check me out at atwellmusic.com. I'm big into trap music, electronic music, rock music, anything. I like to play with it, make it, engineer it. And, we'll be playing some of these songs tonight. I'm originally from Barrie, but now I live in Stouffville. And apologize for the circumstances. I'm in the car right now, but we're making it happen. Big up.
Yes, he was supposed to be in the studio, and he messaged me 20 minutes before and said, I don't know if I'm going to make it back in time. I go, dude, it's my first broadcast, but we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
All right, Chandler. So Chandler Kosminski from Ready Music, and he has been producing professionally for about a year now. He's going to school for it. I'll let him tell you all about that. And he's blowing me away with what he's doing so far. I got a request from his dad, who was a good friend of mine, still is a good friend, from back in the college days. We hired him at the Rocks to work with us doing promotions. He had a great big Ford Explorer. We deckled it all up with Rock's promo team, and we went to Sunshine Park and Wasaga Beach, and we hit everywhere. We had good promotions going on then. And his son obviously has his passion and love for music and started playing piano at an early age. I think he's been playing for over 10 years. I'll let him talk about that. And from there progressed to DJing, and then now he's producing. So Chan, why don't you say yo, give yourself a little plug on who you are and what you do.
So you basically touched on everything. But yeah, been playing piano for 8 years, DJing for a couple of years. I haven't DJed very much recently. I should probably get back into it. And, music production has been a little over a year, and I've started picking up electric guitar right now. So, yeah.
All right, very cool. And then next up we have Joe from JLR. I'll let him tell you who he is. He's a Barrie boy too, and what he does.
Yeah, so like Chris, grew up in Barrie, moved out 20 years ago, but ended up in Stouffville as well. I think Chris actually followed me here, so thanks for that, buddy. And but the amazing thing is 5 minutes up the road is Chris's studio, where a lot of magic happens, and we were able to hook up recently. But before that, I'm really more of a DJ first, producer second. Started about 20 years ago, and I've been fortunate to play a lot of interesting gigs, and supporting a lot of different artists, local artists, global artists. Playing BPM Festival in 2011, and now just kind of a resurgence of doing like fun edits, remixes, and now original tracks that we're going to go through today.
All right, cool. So I think what we'll do, we wanted to have a live listen. I asked the boys to come up with a couple tracks each that we could promote and listen to live. We're going to play them, and then you can type any feedback that you want for them in the chat. And I promise you we will get back to all the comments and questions that are in the chat a little bit later. Or we might address a few of them between the broadcast now and then. So we'll just go with it. Okay, so Shan, why don't you talk about your first track, how you produced it, any thoughts behind it, and then intro it.
Okay, so first track is Time. It was released about 4 or 5 days ago. And I wanted to try something a little different, because usually the genre I produce is like future bass. So it's not, 4 on the floor type beat. It's, but I decided to sort of incorporate future bass with future house, with some jazzy chords. And usually that genre is called like Kawai future bass, but it's also future house at the same time. So I wanted to do something a little different than what I usually do. And so, yeah, that's what I came up with.
All right, well, give us the big promo. Here's my...
Yeah, so here's my track, Time, of course by me. And you can find it on YouTube just by Ray Music, Time.
Let's do it. Oh, nice wind down. I like that.
Appreciate it.
Back to the raw piano. Chris, if you could hear it, you'd love it. All right. So, Joe, why don't we start with you? Any thoughts on that?
Man, it's just such a clean production, and I think that is one of the toughest things to do with electronic music, especially when you're writing such a nice strong synth lead, and you can get really muddled kind of in the middle of the mix, and I just felt like the pieces went really well together. Like it was really clean, but also I'm sure on the right system, this thing bangs for real.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also noticed that your knowledge of piano obviously is going to do wonders for you in your production, right? And I guess you said you learned by ear, though. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So have you had any technical training?
I took
scales.
I took a couple months of piano lessons and kind of quit out of it because it's not my kind of thing. I prefer to just teach myself. Like I taught myself how to, produce music.
Yeah, us creative people have a hard time following direction. It's true. I used to take music lessons. My dad had me in piano, and about 2 weeks, the teacher said, I can't work with him. He keeps going ahead of me. So. All right. I had a question for you, Chan, on that.
Sure.
Are you using original artists at all, or is this what kind of material are you using to put your productions together?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, are you working with real vocals, using production packs, or
So the vocals I'm using are royalty-free acapellas that I can either get off of Splice or that I pay for on, certain websites, right? And I just go with those because, I don't have, proper audio foam and, I do have audio recording equipment, but
oh, we lost him.
Not a single credit. Oh, is it me?
No, it's okay. We're back.
Okay, I thought it was.
That's cool. So is there a couple other sites that maybe you can tell people, young musicians, where they can go?
Okay. So there's a couple good sites. There's Splice. There's endless acapella.
Oh, we're losing some feedback.
And then there's also Cymatics, which also gives out, they've given out free full acapellas that are royalty free, which are great.
Okay, so why don't we do your second track? I like this one a lot, and we'll let you introduce it. Do you want to talk a little bit about it and what it is?
So next track is Falling Down. This was a track that was originally intended to be a intro for one of my buddies for his YouTube videos. And then after a bunch of people started to hear it, they asked for me to actually put it up online. So I ended up completing the song and I posted it up online. And, within a month, it's already at 700 plus views on YouTube, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is my next track. It's called Falling Down. We just played Time, but
yeah. All right, let's do it. Here's Falling Down.
Falling down and then rising up. Reach the clouds in a state of flux. Rolling through the sky, I forget the faces. Do you ever wonder why we try to find these places? Hold my hand and call out my name. We'll go to a land where our hearts can stay. I can see you falling, reaching for a grip. Come with me, I'm rising and I'll never let you slip. No, don't worry.
really love the slap snare.
Falling down and then rising up. Reach the clouds and see the fly. Rolling through the sky, I forget the faces. Do you ever wonder why we try to find these places? Hold my hand and call out my name. We'll go to a land where our hearts can stay. I can see you falling, reaching so quick. Come with me, I'm rising and I'll never let you slip. Don't worry, my love. Look to the stars above. I've got you for now, and we are coming down. I'll take us from here, beyond the stratosphere, embracing the sound, and we are coming down.
Brother, I really like your outros.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
4-bar, no, probably 8-bar breakdowns, eh? Or maybe 4, I can't tell. Wow. All right, let's talk about that. So, what genre would you call that? Trap?
So that's like kind of like a melodic dubstep-ish kind of track. You know, I wanted to do something with dubstep drums, but also, you know, incorporate future bass, because when you mix future bass and dubstep, you get, you know, melodic dubstep where you get those, you know, big super saw chords, but then you can, you know, get some dubstep growls in it. Now, I decided not to put too many growls in there. But on my other song, Need You Most, you will hear like those big dubstep growls in between like the drums and all that.
Very cool. So, if people wanted to learn more about you, where they can hear the rest of your music, obviously on YouTube, they could just search for Ready Music, right? Do you want to give a shout out for other places they can find? Because you have other music as well.
Yeah, I post on my SoundCloud at ready_music. I don't really post on there very much. If I plan to post on there again, it'll be, you know, just like side projects. I decide not to post on my YouTube, but most of my main stuff is just posted up on my YouTube. And then other places where you can find me is here on Twitch at twitch.tv/readymusic. So,
Cool. Okay, a few quick questions for you, then we'll move to our next artist. So,
right.
it's funny, when we first had our talk about doing this, I think I said your music reminds me of, and I can't remember, and you nailed it.
San Holo.
Yes.
Mm.
Who is again?
So San Holo.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's his style. I heard your music and it made me think of him right away. I watched a couple of his big festivals that he did last year, and man, he killed it. Yeah. And I love his sound. So keep going, brother. I think you're doing awesome. Now we're going to turn you into a listener, and you're going to give a little bit of feedback as a young producer to some of the older producers. Because listening to what he had to say, I think these young guys will be able to teach us the same way we can teach the young guys a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
I got a quick question for Chandler, actually, because
sure.
you mentioned that you know, in a lot of your tracks you have those big dubstep growls, and the thing about dubstep growls is that it's all about having the right sidechain compression, right? You want to make sure that when you're bringing these big sounds in, that the drums are big and fat and slap, but at the same time, when those synthesizers come in, that they have room. So I'm just curious, you know, if you could expand just a little bit on, you know, maybe some plugins that you use to really help bring those sounds out, particularly growls, if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great.
So, of course, for the synths, I'm always using X for Record Serum. You know, it's my favorite synth. Basically, all my drops are made with Serum. when it comes down to compression, I'm using Fat Filter Pro C2, sometimes OTT, and then sometimes I just use the built-in compressor within Serum on those growls. But yeah, that's usually how I go along with growls. You know,
My growls usually
Nice.
go
OTT.
something like
Yeah.
that.
I like that OTT Dynamics plugin. It's pretty easy to use and it's free, which is good too.
Mhm.
So just so you guys know that are watching, I don't know if Chris could actually hear those songs because he was going to be in the studio, but he couldn't make it. So I'm hoping that you two are going to connect after this. And I know you've got a lot of, Chris does a lot of great stuff that he'll tell you about, Chan. And he'll be a great inspiration to help you move along. And so we're going to make sure you guys stay connected. And thanks for the advice to him. All right. So speaking of Atwell, Mr. Atwell, let's move to him. Oh, actually, I was supposed to ask Chan a few questions. I had one more question.
Alrighty.
But I think you already answered. I was going to ask about studio equipment. What DAW are you using?
I'm using FL Studio 20, but I do have a couple other DAWs. I have Pro Tools, Ableton Live 10 Standard, and Studio One 4.
Okay. And I was going to ask you what your musical inspirations are, but you've talked about it. I want to know your next inspiration after music.
So after I'm done at FSW, where I'm taking my audio technology certificate, I'm planning on looking into Icon Collective. It's a school in LA. They also have an online school, but their school is completely devoted to, electronic music production. And so the biggest names in electronic music, are alumni there from Ghastly, Jaws, Slander, Nightmare, and they have huge connections and can really get you out there. And, at the end of a 1-year course with Icon, you get a certification in Ableton and Logic Pro.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that's a huge plus.
I also have to mention, I think it's wonderful that your parents support you in what you do, right? It's not easy for a parent to say, yes, go follow your music, because everybody thinks you can't make a career in it. And it is easy, but really in any career, if you're passionate about it, if you're good at it, the money will follow, I believe. Right? And the last question for you, Chan, if you could collaborate with anyone and you had a choice, Chris is going to say, hopefully me. Who are you going to collaborate with?
I mean, there's a lot of artists I want to collaborate. Of course, I'd love to collaborate with Son Holo, but a person just for a learning experience to collaborate with would be Virtual Riot. Just because Virtual Riot's sound design it's on a whole nother level. And just to be able to sit in the studio with him and just see his process behind making songs. I mean, this guy has taken recordings from a Lamborghini Rev engine and turned it into a full dubstep growl drop. And, you can give him any sound and he'll make it into, a top tier dubstep song. And he, whenever he tries different genres, he still is at the top of the leaderboards when it comes to production value,
Very cool.
So,
all right, so let's move on then to Mr. Chris Atwell. He's known as Atwell Music. He's been doing music as long as I've known him, probably before I've known him. We met through the Rocks and the Queens. I remember two young fellows coming into our boardroom. We met every Monday with our management team for the nightclubs and bars that the owner owned. And these two young bucks come strolling in and they said, we want to do a night. And we want our own night, and we'll make it busier than any night that you have ever had.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not far off from that, am I?
No, you're not far off. That's exactly what I said. I said this is going to be the biggest thing the Rocks has ever seen. Let's do it.
It was called Friday Urban Society. Well, I don't even know if there was a name. We met 3 or 4 times, and we worked together with our marketing management and you guys, and we just kind of put together an urban night. And so let's just quickly talk about that, and then we'll get into who you are, what you are, and your tracks.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So, we're going back now, 18 years, 20 years when I was in college. And so I'm a little bit older than you are, Chandler, but, I've been in the business for a long time. And yeah, I was in college. I was studying business, doing a lot of music production and DJing and MCing on the side. It was a passion of mine, always has been. And a group of buddies who were into the same thing as I was decided that we wanted to throw a hip hop themed club night on Friday nights downtown Barrie, when the club scene was really electric in those days. And you could have theme nights, and it really popped off. So buddy of mine, Anthony Craparata, who's known as Ill Vibe, he's a world-renowned artist touring around the world, and a local I guess man of his own, Todd Palmer, who is now big businessman running a consulting business in Barrie. But he was a rapper, and yeah, we started this night. We'd come up with some really cool ideas. Remember that, Jamie, where you had to have a membership card and you had to print the membership card? You know, you pay a $5 fee to get into the club, and then we had this camera that would take a snap of your picture, and it would print out a membership card, and you couldn't get into the club unless you had the membership card. And
VIP.
Man, VIP.
Yeah.
It was VIP. And then, yeah, we brought big artists in. We brought Cardinal Official in. We did a lot of shows of our own, big name DJs. You know, obviously the local DJs would perform, but then we would bring in some hot names. And really what that started for me, Friday Urban Society, you know, as we grew the night over the course of many months, it became a platform for me to perform my songs in front of a packed house. And that's where I really got rid of a lot of my stage fright, where I really learned to connect with artists and learn to connect with a crowd by being in the spotlight on a regular basis, which really turned me on to, you know, becoming a producer and securing my whole feeling that I wanted to pursue business in the music industry. So yeah,
you used to
that.
do battle rap stuff too, didn't you?
Yeah, so we would host battles, like old school rap battles at the Rocks, and we'd bring in rappers from all around the country who would want to battle in the, you know, I remember Q Shinobi. He rapped against Combat, who's now Drew James, signed to Rough Riders, and Q went on to be, you know, part of the whole King of the Dot circle, and he performed on Much Music and all these things, and we had them battle, and then Q won the one night, and then the following night we brought in some guy from Montreal to battle Q, and it was when battles were over a beat and you had to freestyle and really rip the other guy up at the same time. So it really worked out, and it created a big buzz. It was dope. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was 20 years ago. Let's talk about today.
Yeah. So today, I run a music company called Atwell Music. It's a production company. It's a music industry consulting company where I partner with a music conference in Toronto called the Northern Power Summit that I'm the director of sponsorship programs for. It's a platform for educating artists on how to make it in the music industry that we host every August. And it's going to be online this year, by the way, in Toronto.
Okay.
I'm working on a lot of music for myself. I work with a lot of artists from around the world in the rap music game. And I've got a local artist signed to my label out of Barrie. His name is Aston Clark. He's kind of like my guy, my top guy. And you're going to hear a song about that in a second. So, you know, really work on artist development, work on owning my craft as a producer, because I'm always evolving, and really trying to dig in the sync licensing world. And that's where I've had a lot of success over the last couple of years, is working with a publisher, having a big catalog of music, and negotiating with music supervisors and advertising companies that are looking for quality music in their commercials, their video games, television, whatever. And a couple of years ago, I landed a big deal with Sprite, and one of my beats is heard in a Sprite commercial with LeBron James on national TV all around the world, internationally. And that was a real milestone in my career, because now my music is being played in these big, you know, everybody knows LeBron James. Everybody knows Sprite,
Yeah, of course.
right? And that's been happening since 2017, where, you know, keep renegotiating publishing deals. So that's been a big focus for me. And then obviously with music, I engineer, so I have a studio. I get projects that I mix and master for people. And I just really like having fun. That's what it's all about, man. Like literally getting in the studio, relaxing, brings me joy. It brings me joy, man. And that's what I love doing. So really doing a lot of different styles, hip hop, trap, doing this bass house, you know, this tech house with JLR, doing some rock music with my boy Brian Dugan and our production team called Red Orbit, doing a lot of rap stuff and helping write songs with my homie Aston Clark. So yeah, that's the way it goes.
It's awesome. Okay, why don't we dive into your songs? We'll let you introduce it, sorry, and tell us a little bit about it.
So Top Guy is a song that I produced. The artist is Aston Clark. I mentioned his name earlier. He's on Atwell Music. Great songwriter, great rapper from Barrie, doing big things. And we're about to launch an EP on Friday, on May 29th, called Portraits. And we're going to be doing a live stream on IG at 8 p.m. on Friday. Aston Clark Music and Atwell Music on IG handle. And Top Guy is the first single from this EP that I produced for Aston. So just came out a couple weeks ago. Let me know what you think. It's a down-tempo, R&B, hip-hoppy, really kind of stripped down, emotional track.
All right, let's do it. Here we go, Top Guy. I have to hit play on this one. Oh, parental on this one, a little bit.
Yeah, there might be a S or a F or a B in there.
So don't tell me that it's got too late.
My virgin ears.
Want you to tell me that you're not afraid. I'll hold you close so I know you're safe. I'm your top guy, I'm your top guy. Coming through to make you feel away. I was hoping that I'm still your fave. Hold you close so I know my place. I'm your top guy. I was thinking back when I used to go ahead and hit you on a snap. Smoke a little that just to see if we relax. Pop a couple billies and you say it's for your back. Then I got my phone and you would ask me who is that. I should be boxing up a ring, not up in a boxing ring. Yeah, that bitch don't mean a thing, like who is that? Yeah, I swear that's just a friend. Yeah, she taught me in the bands back in 2010, and that was that. I ain't even asking where you at. Who the fuck you with, or when the hell you coming back? So what is that? Yeah, what's to say about the trust? Yeah, you say you fuck with us, but lately you been fucking up, and that's a fact. Cause all I wanted was this, and all you wanted was to be normally fucking boring with him. But if I ended all this touring and performing events, would you be down to try this shit all again? I need to know, I need to know. So don't tell me that it's got too late. Want you to tell me that you're not afraid. I'll hold you close so I know you're safe. I'm your top guy, I'm your top guy. Coming through to make you feel away. I was hoping that I'm still your fave. Hold you close so I know my place. I'm your top guy, I'm your top guy. She don't feel right in my arms. She be setting off alarms since I put her in my palm. She ain't you, and ain't it true that you been missing everything I used to do? I hope you know I miss it too. And I've been trying to find another, but I swear there ain't no other. I just fuck her, I don't love her. This is you, and this is me. I hope you're missing everything I used to be, and tell me that it couldn't be. Tell me that he's everything you'll ever need. I'm with the girl, she 21, read them and we checking in on her when she turned 23. Yeah, she just drank too much, so I'ma let her sleep. Cause all I wanted was this, and all you wanted was to be normally fucking boring with him. But if I ended all this touring and performing events, would you be down to try this shit all again? I need to know, I need to know. So don't tell me that it's got too late. Want you to tell me that you're not afraid. I'll hold you close so I know you're safe. I'm your top guy, I'm your Hold you close so I know my place. I'm your top guy, I'm your top guy.
I'm gonna pause there. Wow, that was good. All right, I want to go to you, Chan, because there's piano riffs in that. Any thoughts?
1 second, I couldn't hear you because I just had to mute the stream really quick. What was that?
That's okay. I said there was some good piano riff in that, and you're a piano player, so I thought that might have touched you, and what you thought, and as a young producer, what you think, especially being a hip hop.
I mean, I use piano in basically all of my tracks. You know, I just, you know, I feel like it works everywhere. You know, if you can get the right chord progression with piano, I mean, you can fit into basically any genre you want it to, and you know, song will always come out good, right? You know, but
Listening to it, I just felt calm. I just felt into the song. I was listening to his lyric. You know, the production didn't overproduce the message or the lyric, if that makes any sense. It was smooth. Joe?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just to touch on that, sometimes as a producer, you always want your beat to stand out, and you're always like, it's about the beat, it's the drive, but sometimes if you take a step back and you're collaborating with an artist who's trying to get a message out, who's trying to tell a story, you got to dial it back a little bit and find that happy medium. And I think we did that with this song.
Yeah, Joe?
First of all, I'm COVID sad because I have not heard this in Chris's studio, because Chris and I haven't connected since early February. So usually this is the first thing I would walk in and be like, yo, check this out. And then he would pump the latest fire, you know, coming out. So no, it's wicked. Like, it's what I really like about it. It's very unique, right? It's got kind of like an indie dance new disco like kind of groove to it, and it's just like, it's silky smooth, man. Like the flow on top of the vibe of the track is just,
Yeah, and I think the word smooth just describes that track.
yeah.
It is smooth.
Yeah.
All right, your next track, Chris.
Yeah,
Loyalty.
so the next track is Loyalty. So this is another production that I did. It actually came out last year, right around this time, on my Above the Clouds record. And Above the Clouds was about my production featuring artists from around the world. This song, Loyalty, got put on 100 playlists on Spotify over the course of the last year, which is fantastic. You know, I'm up above 50,000 plays on Spotify. Got a lot of love internationally because it has a half English, half Spanish vocalist on it. 2 vocalists, actually. So it features Devo, it features Spectacular. They rap in both English and Spanish. My production, take a listen.
All right, here we go.
We bout to set this bitch on fire. We bout to set this bitch on fire. Fam here, squad here, yeah, we all here. All day, all week, all month, all year. Wake up, bake up, get my cake up. Yeah, baby mama mad at me, break up, make up. She don't want nobody else to come around and get it. Got the bitches steady bragging on me, capping like a fitted. Got the condo with nothing but condoms in it. Same place where the rhymes are in it. Yeah, it took a lot of time to get it. I ain't trying to get this life up no time soon. I'm a young typhoon, can't catch my waves. As I catch sun rays and I brush my waves. I'm a young tycoon, yeah. They doing everything for promo. They see me come around, haters, they a no-show. Red light, see coming for me is a no-no. Give me that green light and everything's on go. Fire. See, everything's on go. Fire. Yeah, everything's on go. Red light, they coming for me is a no-no. Give me that green light, cause everything's on hook. Go gadget, so tragic. Promo lacking, logo magic, Soho popping. Just might pull up baddies with me. Skirts all pulled up, tummy showing, tits is showing. Big shit pop like tip is flowing. Tips included, bitch, you know it. Fake ass drip, but the wrist still glowing. Always drip like broken mowing. No bullshit like Joe Kim Noah. Game ain't free, you know who sold it. Blow through grass like bitch, you mowed it. Bitch, I did, you know I did. Got the 150 run, J.I.D. Use a K.I.D. and you can't ID. Can't impersonate a man with the fake eye. A.I.B. Knee deep all in these streets like every week. Dropping D off in.
Hey, Chris, was that Loyalty?
Yeah. What was the song? How did it go? Loyalty.
I don't know. I think I had the wrong one on. Hang on, let's see. Because you said Spanish.
It was Go Go.
Ah, okay. I was waiting for the Spanish part. Like I said, the show is live.
I like the way that she moves. Some people say that she rude. I bet she hating on dudes, but I got
This is Loyalty.
Son about making these moves. Cuando la vi por atrás, nunca pensé que jamás iba a ver tus alas. Mariposita bonita, venida.
You get an extra track.
Tenerte más. Hella fly. She riding with me, plus be my alibi. When I'm high, she rolling trees up and keep on standing by. Eres fiel, tu piel tan dulce como si fueras miel. Quieres ver fantasías mías que te quiero hacer. From the start, they try to split us and then pull us apart. From the heart, you be the realest body, a work of art. Eres pura, llega la poli y tú no dices nada. Bien madura, eres mi homie, reina y mucho más. A queen up in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. And when I press up on that dress, it's like she fiending for weeks. Siempre haces tu dinero, siempre me pones primero. Y por eso yo te quiero, estás con el mero mero. Hey, loyalty, loyalty. For my squad, I got loyalty. Loyalty. For my dogs, I got loyalty. Loyalty. Ain't no frauds when it's loyalty. Loyalty. It's so hard to find loyalty. Loyalty. For my squad, I got loyalty. Loyalty. For my dogs, I got loyalty. Loyalty. Ain't no frauds when it's loyalty. Loyalty. It's so hard to find. Real is the way that you live. Real is the way that you give. All of these haters as kids. Do me a favor and rid me of these traitors and shit. Eres amigo o no, andas conmigo o no, eres testigo o no. Mi enemigo, si no yo te miro y siempre consigo otro beef. I got beef, smoking on that ganja leaf. I ain't even gotta speak. Haters got about a week. Nadie me conoce más. Son mis compas sin disfraz. Si se alocan quieren más. Quieren bronca, quieren paz. We get wavy, we get wild, we get crazy, we get foul. We can jump inside Mercedes, pulling ladies with a smile. Somos pocos pero locos, con nosotros no hay otros. En las fotos con las motos, choco como terremoto. All of my people is down, I'ma greet them with a pound. Picking them up when they down, all of them wearing a crown. Building them up and not tearing them down. Juntos con mis perros, mi combo está entero. Con dinero, sin dinero, mi combo viene primero. Hey! For my squad, I got loyalty. Loyalty. For my dogs, I got loyalty. Loyalty. Ain't no frauds when it's loyalty. Loyalty. It's so hard to find loyalty.
Riding through the city, getting guapo. All I see is tunnel vision like a chapel. But still I gotta get it off like I know. Put it on like I know. Still ride what the real is, what the deal is, and I know.
Loyalty. Loyalty. For my squad, I got loyalty. Loyalty. For my dogs, I got loyalty. Loyalty. Ain't no frauds when it's loyalty. Loyalty. It's so hard to find loyalty.
Riding through the city, getting guapo. All I see is tunnel vision like a chapel. But still I gotta get it off like I know. Put it on like I know. Still ride what the real is, what the deal is, and I know.
Awesome. All right, we'll pause there. Now that I got the right track. Sorry, brother.
Hey, all good.
You
man.
got-
Extra free promo. Free promo. There you go.
So let's start with you, Joe. Any thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I've been listening to this album for a while now, so I'm a big fan of it. And what I like most about the album is all the different sounds, all the different MCs that collaborated on it. And I think Chris did a great job of like picking the right artist to match the right, like, you know, beats, bass line, chord progression, all those pieces to like those individual artists, because they all sound very different.
Cool.
all the vocalists he's working on the album are very different. So yeah, I mean this one is great because you gotta love that Spanish flow, right? So
Chris, I have to ask you, was that all done in your home studio?
All done in Stouffville, Ontario, at home. Yeah, except for Spectacular's part. He's out in Victoria. Free Spectacular. He's actually in jail right now. But anyways, he actually sent us the vocals over the internet. But for the most part, yeah, Devo and I did it all in Stouffville in my studio.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your studio? What DAW you're using?
I'm going to be there in like 3 minutes. You're going to be happy with me. So,
good.
So my studio, I moved into this house a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, and my plan was to build a professional studio in my basement. And when the business was going really good with the licensing and stuff, I decided to invest. And I had a professional contractor who built Phase One in Toronto. He built a couple of well-known studios back in the city, and he came and helped me design it. It's completely soundproof. It's acoustically treated. You know, I'm running a nice Apple computer with a UAD Apollo system and some really nice studio monitors. I got, you know, some Yamaha, some PreSonus, and running Ableton Live 9, which is my baby. You know, I should upgrade to 10, but it is what it is. Using a lot of Universal Audio plugins now. Love them. Very analog, very warm. And yeah, so it's right at home. I can go in anytime and get some work done. Love it.
Very cool. All right, I had a couple more questions for you. Your studio. Oh yeah, your collab. Who would I collab with? Who's your next collab?
So I'm doing actually an album with a good friend of mine, Dio Gibson. And Dio Gibson, he was the first guy to end up in the Guinness Book of Records for the longest freestyle. So he freestyled for something like 12 hours and got into the Guinness Book of Records. He's a great businessman. He's a very knowledgeable, smart guy. He's written a book, and he's a great rapper. And we're doing an EP together soon. So that's just a collaboration that I've wanted to do for years, and I'm really glad we're going to do. But my dream collaboration, man, who would that be with? I think I'd really like to work with Yellow Wolf. I think that would be dope. You know, kind of mesh that rock, hip hop kind of world together. Wow. I'd love to work with Everlast, you know, and try to again mesh that rock hip hop thing. So, you know, that's kind of what I do. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Maybe if you need to jump out when you get home and get into your studio, just stay on your phone, but we don't want to lose you. We're going to move to your buddy, to Joe, JLR. Why don't you give us a little snippet on you, who you are, what you do, and where you've been?
Yeah, so I think I'm a little bit different from the group because I'm definitely more of a DJ first. I'm not going to say that I'm a sound engineer. That would not give justice to the other gentleman on the interview today. And I had the privilege of growing up in the 80s around like DJs back in the 80s, you know, playing early electro, early hip hop, playing all the old school records that made up hip hop, right? But, you know, that had a massive impression for basically the rest of my life and had a big influence on my music career. And I think just an awe of DJing through hip hop DJs growing up in high school. I was big on drum and bass. And then when I started DJing, I was actually playing breaks, a lot of like funky breaks, new school breaks. And then eventually got into house. I'd play a lot of sets that were a mix of breaks and house together.
Okay.
And yeah, from there, I just, you know, I was out of Barrie at the time. I moved around in Canada, played gigs, you know, between like Ottawa and in Toronto, and then I lived in Toronto for about eight years, and that's really where things started to progress. I ran my own nights, my own monthly house nights with different guests that I'd bring in from around Toronto, and just was really fortunate to connect with so many different musicians and artists that support our great scene for the past few decades.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I got to play some bigger gigs. One of the larger ones was a big party at the Western Homecoming University jam that had Deadmau5 as the headliner. So I was actually the opening gig. If I talk about opening gigs, I'm the opener of probably 4 different other DJs that opened before he finally played the set to about 5,000 people. So that was really cool because London's actually where I was born. I was named after the hospital there, St. Joseph's. And then
wow.
that next year, I got to go play at the BPM festival in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, when BPM was still playing there. And that was just phenomenal. It's the first time for me playing outside of Canada. And it was just an amazing experience, the vibe, the scene, all the parties, the people. And I think for me, the biggest thing I've learned is just watching big, kind of all-star DJs being so humble and so nice and wanting to give so much advice and giving back. So I just think no matter what level of experience that you're at, how big you are, how small you are, is or not saying big and small, but let's say in terms of your name on a flyer, you should just treat everyone the same. And
cool.
I've been lucky to be treated like that from many people in the scene. Yeah.
So looking up on our screen.
So
sorry.
I actually got in.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Just gonna say I started producing about 8 years ago. We actually did a dubstep track, and we got signed to do it for Atlantic Records with a vocalist named Winter Gordon out of New York City. And I did a few more tracks with my production partner at the time, Jay Hamilton. And then unfortunately, Jay passed away from cancer. And I took a break actually after that. Can you guys hear me? All good? Yeah. Yeah. So I actually, okay. To be honest, that loss of Jay, and I went through a pretty bad divorce at the time. I had to take a break from music. I took a break from pretty much DJing out and making tracks for almost over 6 years. That's why the track tonight that we're going to hear between Chris and I is so special, because it's my first time back in the studio since I lost Jay, and Chris and I have such a wicked history and such good friends. It was awesome. So the track is really special to us. And I'm just excited getting back to music. And when I'm not blessed with my time with Mr. Atwell in his beautiful studio, I'm making a lot of free edits, a lot of bootlegs in the hip house flavor. So taking a lot of old school hip hop tracks and then kind of doing edits and kind of like new age kind of mashups to make a hip house version and giving those away for free for everyone.
Awesome. Okay. I'm glad that your spiel was a little bit longer because we lost the boys. And now they're back. Chris is in his studio. And I don't have the Chen. They're both back. So that's good.
Yeah, perfect.
So he just described his whole experience growing up, DJing and who he's involved with and what's been meaningful to him and some life circumstances. And thank you for your honesty. That's we all have that stuff, and I think that keeps driving us forward.
Yeah.
Especially in music, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's let you introduce your song. Let me get ready.
Okay.
So this is something that you co-produced with.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. With the handsome man that's now in the studio, Mr. Atwell. So Chris and I have talked about getting together, I think, for over 4 years. We live about now 5 minutes apart in Stouffville. And you know what? actually, not to get deep again, but him and I both lost some friends last year from the Bay Area, and it motivated us to like, let's do this, man. Let's get together. And we just had a blast. We made this track, and we just kind of came out from different angles. Like I came at it really from this DJ, tech house, hip house kind of culture. He's the master of trap and hip hop and electronic beats, and we just put something together that felt good. So
the first time I listened
to
this track, the bass line just stuck to me like Gorilla Glue.
There you go. There you go.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Let's play it. All right, let's do it.
Excellent.
Here we go.
Wicked.
Oh, I have to hit play. Don't worry, it's only a 64 bar intro.
Yeah, I should have gave you the heads up on that. This is like in the DJ friendly version.
No, it's gonna build. It's a builder. I'm feeling it.
It's all about the vibe, man.
Here comes. That's a fat bass. Then it just got fatter. Breakdown.
There you go. Give the sunglasses on there.
Oh, you're teasing me again. I'm waiting for that big booty bass to come back in. Here it comes.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh yeah, we're teasing you, buddy.
Chandler. Yeah, turn your hat backwards.
You gotta turn my hat backwards? Okay. I don't
I get
usually
some
have it
sunglasses.
backwards.
A little tight. Now we have to build out.
Yeah, that's probably it. That one.
All right, I'll pause there. Wow, that's fat.
PHAT. Nice.
What? How did you develop that bass line? What did you use?
Chris, this one's you, buddy.
Let me pop open Ableton real quick. I'll be specific. So the way this track went was Joe's like, dude, we're gonna make like a tech house track, and I'm like, okay. I love trying new things. And the bass line, I believe, was made using a Tone 2 bundle, probably the Saurus or the one of the other Tone 2 synths that are out there. And I think I layered two different synths together. Really brought out the saw bass in one and then some sub in the other. And so it's a combination of a couple sounds layered, and it was really just me going boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just when you thought it was already deep, then you took it lower.
Yeah.
At one point in the song, I heard it actually drop.
Dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. So you guys gonna do some more work together? Some more work together? Yeah,
absolutely.
Nope. Yeah. Hope so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna as soon as COVID's over, we're gonna bro hug, and we're gonna make some more tech house, man. I love it. We're getting some good responses, and it's fun. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. So love to hang out with this guy too.
Totally.
Did you want to add anything, Joe, to that?
No, I think that it was kind of one of those things we had no idea what was going to come out of our session together. I think that was the beauty of it, is that I came in just like, this is kind of like some things I've been listening to. I've been digging some vibes, and then Chris is like, well, yeah, this is how I make my stuff. And then we just, I don't know, went back and forth, and then just started to really a bit of a vibe. That's the thing about a little bit different about some of the 4/4 stuff that I've been into for years. It's really about that vibe. It's different from some of the other music I've made in the past, which is why you have such long intros, outros, because the mixing of it is so important for DJs playing it. And
very cool.
Yeah, it was a wicked first track together. I was really happy how it all turned out.
Very good.
We also had another songwriter for this song. So Brian Dugan, who's one of my production partners. Originally, we had a whole bunch of guitars over this song, and we had some other synths. So he helped us with the inspiration as well. So big up, Brian.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Very good. Okay, so another thing we're going to talk to you about is something you're passionate about. Is your hip house radio? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've kind of been on this, I guess you call it hip house. Hip house has been around for decades. If you go back to, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s, a lot of house music back then was hip house. It had definitely an urban vibe to it. Even It Takes Two was considered kind of hip house because it had that upbeat vibe to it. There's a little bit more 4/4. There's a lot of fast dancing going on back then.
When you say hip house, I think of Fast Eddie.
Exactly.
With Sundance.
Yeah. So what I'm doing here is not your classic hip house. I'm making my own spin on it, where I'm basically
right on.
My own edits that I make. It's basically you're chopping up hip hop beats and then mixing it with house.
And then what I wanted to do was just create a site, because I've been digging and trying to find these tracks for decades. I have tons of vinyl, white labels, lots of rare remixes I have on my my hard drives, and then I just wanted a spot where people could go, DJs, music lovers could go and find it all in one spot, and they're all free. Like, these are all free tracks, promo tracks, bootlegs, and mixtapes, all in one spot, and it's been awesome. Like, it's gone from September. I think there's now over like 1,000 or 1,100 followers, but I've started like a mixtape series out of it too, and I've had guests from Norway, from Ireland, some other guests right now interested. So it's just, for me, it's just a lot of fun, just kind of giving back to the scene that's given me so much over the years.
So I'm scrolling through it, and I see Hip House Radio. Is that like a live broadcast that you do?
They're not live, they're studio mixes.
Okay.
So I think we've done about 7 episodes since I launched in the fall, and I've done majority of them, and then I've had a few guests, and I do have a few more guests lined up already coming out soon. So
if I were to click play on this one, is that okay?
Yeah.
With you? Let's do it. Let's see what I'll just kind of scan through it.
Yeah.
Is there an intro coming up, or should I move it forward?
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. You heard the first. Now here's the remix.
This is actually I'm just layering in some lovely
Smoking on some overseas, dizzy town shit, push me. Politicking, trying to make my plans stick, push me. Too close to the edge, I smash. I ain't that nigga thinking he in the double out of switch. I ain't your role model, I ain't on the project.
The really cool thing is that house and hip-hop, they were born out of a lot of the same genres that they sampled from, right? A lot of the funk, R&B, disco, and I think that's why they go together so well.
Sorry, brother, we didn't hear a thing you said over the music. But that's okay, as long as you enjoyed it. So why don't you, I'm not going to skip through it, but obviously it's mixed with all kinds of really good stuff, and there's lots of material on this site.
Yeah.
It's soundcloud.com/hiphouser. No, Hip House Radio. Sorry, yeah. Hip House Radio.
Yes.
And you were saying that it's just what?
Well, basically, I mean, hip-hop and house music kind of came up around the same time together, right? You're talking like late 70s and early 80s, but a lot of the same samples: disco, funk, R&B, and I think that's why like there's a lot of hip hop tracks and house tracks. Producers sampled a lot of the same music, and they just.
So here's one: Sean Paul Temperature, the emo remix. Can I hit play? Let's do this.
Yeah, it's just something I've shared.
Just scanning through it.
Beautiful voice, Jamie.
Yeah, you can't rap in real time when you're streaming. All right. Okay, well, we've gone over because the first 10 minutes we did without any of my audio.
Okay.
But what do you say? It's been a first-time experience. It's been a pleasure having all 3 of you on the show. Thank you for helping me start this. I'm going to make an announcement now. I think this is like 95% confirmed. I have Anthem Kings, Alex K, and Derek Barbosa. They are mashup remixers from, Alex is still very busy doing Delirious and Alex K Productions. And Derek is still doing his own thing a little bit. But I've actually convinced them to come online together. And we're going to talk all the mashups, Curriculum Clan, all that kind of stuff. Their remixes played worldwide. Probably, I would say, one of the bigger mashup remixers in Canada, in my opinion. So that being said, hopefully we'll have them on next Monday for New Music Monday. I'm going to give you guys each a chance to say like another minute or two, self-promotion or whatever you want to say, and then we'll call it a wrap. All right. Chan, you go first.
Well, just to wrap up, if you want to check out my music, you can find me on YouTube at just youtube.com/RayMusic and on Twitch at twitch.tv/RayMusic. I usually live stream daily. That's about it for me.
Well, thank you. All right. Who's up? You guys decide.
Chris, you're in.
You're up.
He wants you to go first.
I'll go.
Okay. Well,
So check me out at atwellmusic.com. I'm really into the artists that I'm producing for Aston Clark. So make sure you join us on Friday, the 29th at 8 p.m. on IG Live for his virtual release party. You can find out more details at Atwell Music on Instagram or on Aston Clark's Instagram, Aston Clark Music. And I want to also plug the Northern Power Summit. The Northern Power Summit is a 2-day conference that's held in Toronto every year in the month of August. And really what the conference is about is providing opportunities for up-and-coming artists to really learn about the music industry, really understand what tools are out there, what support systems are in the industry here in Canada to really help elevate your career in the music industry. You can find out more at northernpowersummit.com. And like I said, we're hopefully going to be doing a conference this year, just in a different climate, but keep tuned. And thank you again, Jamie. It was really, really nice to talk to you, brother.
No problem. Chris, on that, so will it be a digital conference?
We're in discussions right now. So
yeah, okay.
Who knows?
Obviously
that's kind of the way things are going. So that's our hopes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, Joe.
All right. First and foremost, just gotta say thanks. Really, really appreciate being on the show. And in terms of promotion, check out my soundcloud.com/JLR. There's almost 100 tracks on there in terms of free edits, bootlegs, and mixtapes. And I just posted up a brand new mixtape that was based on a live set over the weekend. And on there, Gorilla Glue is in the mix. So I'll make sure to check that out.
Is that the set that your neighbor shut you down? Or tried to?
I set the record, I think. Quickest noise to play, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So, yeah.
Next time, leave the bass bins inside.
Ruckus, so that's good.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. I want to thank you guys profusely for coming on my show and putting up with my lack of experience when it comes to doing this. I hope I did okay, and you guys had a good time.
It was excellent.
We'll continue to support you, and hopefully you guys will all connect, and we'll keep growing together as artists. Okay, we're going to wrap. We're going to go back to the promo, and that'll be it. Good night, guys, and thanks.
Take care, Chandler. Take care, James. See you, Joe.
All right.
Much
Cheers,
love,
guys.
Chandler.
Where did you grow when I needed you most? You packed your bags and ran from what we had.
Stay on, guys.
I'm going to flip my head back now.
Scream my love at you, but you were never listening to me.
As soon as this promo's done, I'll stop streaming, then we can talk for a quick one. I want you to go on this boy's site and check it out, man. Wow. Shit is good.
Yeah, Chandler. Give me what's your what's this way again?
YouTube. Let me grab a link for you. I'll toss it up in the chat. I'm following it out.
What am I searching on YouTube while I got the desktop up?